This man here is a big piece of Why? Let me set the stage. Germany is suffering from one of the biggest flooding events in the recent years. It's really bad. Most of the floodings are concentrated in one area. Let's call it German California just so that it's easier to follow. So the governor of German California is this He wants to become the next chancellor of Germany because Merkel is finally quitting. And he is also currently the governor of, let's say, German California. North Rhine-Westphalia to be precise. So, during these very horrible times, when many people have lost everything, he was standing here in the background of a TV interview and was laughing his ass off. There's no single excuse for this. This single act is sadly very representative of today's German politics. Instead of talking of what went wrong and how to improve the things in the future, where to build dams, where to do what, every politician instead is only focusing on the upcoming big elections. The Green Party say that, oh yes, it was the climate change. Because, if we all would drive electric cars and recycle our trash, there would be no more rain in Germany. Yeah. Let me translate to you on the fly a text that I have found from somebody who has lost a lot in this situation. The text was sent to reitschuster.de. A letter. I am affected by the catastrophe in Euskirchen. My family had in Oldendorf lost everything. We have no more electricity, no warm water, no internet, no telephone, no cell phone reception. All possessions are gone. I had to take a break, now I'm back. My family got hit really hard. I myself am, materially speaking, less hit. But let me start from the beginning. The floodings were a catastrophe that was visible miles ahead, meaning that it was preventable. Weeks before the catastrophe, the dams were full to the brim and the ground was so full of water that it was not able to absorb any more. These informations can be found on the websites online. The weather report showing a lot of rain and very strong rain can also be found online. So, knowing all this, the Catastrophe Prevention Agency could have started to remove water to prevent worse from happening. At the 14th of June, the permanent rain changed to very strong rain. At 18 o'clock, at 6 o'clock in the evening, everything was flooded. Manholes and channels were already releasing fountains of water, and these fountains of water also included pond fish, fishes from ponds. At 1 hour later, the first pictures from Oldendorf arrived me, where I saw that the car from my daughter-in-law and her mother were already underwater. The small stream turned into a raging river. Streets were flooded, train lines underwater. The lower floor was flooded and people already fled to the higher levels. By now the whole town of Euskirchen was flooded. Electricity was gone and communication was already impossible. The pedestrian zone, parking houses, living houses, stores, everything underwater. In Oberndorf the water was already pressing with all its force against the ceiling of the second level. Furniture, electric devices, everything was pressed against the walls and pushing against the ceiling. My family fled from the flooded house via the attic with a 4-year-old in its hands. At this point only the volunteer fire department was there. It was all depending on them. There was no catastrophe prevention department, no military. Nothing. Only the volunteers of the THW, the Federal Agency for Technical Relief, something like volunteer fire department stuff. Only they and the surrounding farmers with their manure pumps were the only ones helping us. One of my neighbors drowned in his own house. At the next day at daylight, we could see that the town of Euskirchen was catastrophical. We were completely cut off from the outside world, and the neighbors helped each other. We collected all the trash out of the houses. The infrastructure is destroyed. We require food, but almost all the stores are closed, and the only ones that are open, in there you can only pay with cash. But during the Corona lockdown times, We got all told all the time that you have to not use cash. The only bank that is still open, even 2 days after the water, is still not able to give us money, so the ATM is broken. So neighbors helped neighbors so that at least we could buy some water. We tried to drive with the car, but in 45 minutes we only managed to come 500 meters far. So then we turned away. We couldn't reach anybody. The cell phone net is dead, the telephone is dead. Oberndorf cannot be entered. It's so destroyed. But we were not informed, because we didn't have neither radio nor TV reception, if you even have one of these devices at all. In meanwhile, the city center, there are reports of plunderings. No electricity means no protection. Those who are trying to clean up everything that they have lost with empty eyes are not able to protect themselves. This was an eyewitness account from my brother-in-law. The house is in ruins. Everything is in ruins. The streets are destroyed. All stores are destroyed. 24/7 we hear sirens outside. Fire department is outside. Helicopters over our head. It feels like being in a war zone. You cannot sleep. At 4 o'clock in the night, I had my first bar of reception on my cell phone. I tried to reach my family in Oberndorf, but it was in vain. No reception. Finally, I managed to call the place for where you can look for missed people. Oberndorf was evacuated, but they had no lists. They don't know who was evacuated. The list is written by people who are asking for people. So it's not a list of who was evacuated, it's a list of missing people. For 2 days I have been searching desperately for my wife, my son, her mother and my granddaughter. At the 16th, then finally they were found in a town 15 kilometers away. They have lost everything. By now their car has been found. It's tipped, so the top is at the ground level, and it's near the train rails in Oberndorf. The house is in ruins. Instead of watching TV, we exchange information with our neighbors and people we know and relatives. But we have heard how saddened our chancellor is, Merkel, and how concerned politicians are about our situation. But seriously, we were not protected at all. The only help comes from ourselves. We offer places to sleep, organize clothes and food, given to us by private local companies, neighbors and friends. We need no pity. We need urgent, unbureaucratic help, and best way, in form of money. People have lost everything here. Houses, cars, everything. Pictures, play toys, everything. We are registered in our area. We have tax numbers. These numbers could be used to give us instant help. We need help, financially. How should we cook water without electricity? Luisa Neubauer is striking for us and for the climate? Please let this be. Instead, why not give her some money? Your family is rich enough. The last thing we need are jumping, incompetent activists. Could we have all escaped with electric cars from here? Where should we have charged them? Take a shovel, take some tools and some emergency electric generators and come and help us. Do something, instead of being activists. In my point of view, the politics is at fault for this whole catastrophe. We were unprotected, and the politicians exposed us to the danger knowingly. Everybody was warned long time ahead, years ahead, but instead they waited and looked to see how worse it could get. No, just take the money and help people who have lost everything. Now he's talking to the politicians. The money you have earned for all the strange deals you have done regarding masks during the corona time. Money for the useless Europe, money for China, India, etc. That money we need now. Pity and discussions, nah, we don't need that. We need money. Come on, do it, we need every helping hand now. We are traumatized. Everybody has lost somebody who they know. And it's not even over yet. Thank you for nothing. Absolutely nothing. You cannot even remotely imagine our situation. But I'm very thankful for tireless help of our helpers. I am very saddened for all the people who have lost loved ones. And I'm very angry. We could have not completely prevented it, but it could have been mitigated by a lot. That was the end of the eyewitness report. And here are some bank account numbers for people who want to donate money for this cause. So while people have lost everything, the would like to be next chancellor is laughing. And he didn't even apologize. He reacted with a tweet. He said that he regrets the impression that his talk situation created. It was unsuited and I'm sorry. So he doesn't say like, fuck, I fucked up, sorry very much. No, he said, the impression that you could have received by watching me laughing, it was a little bit not so good. So, could everything have been mitigated or prevented? It's hard to say from now. But there are some things that went terribly wrong. One thing that failed completely was the alarm and warning system. At the night you read in the eyewitness report that the whole thing started in the evening and at night. The night when the water levels were rising, and I guess a lot of agencies knew that the water levels are reaching critical levels and the dams maybe have burst or whatever. The TV stations did nothing. They still showed some German music. They could have made an emergency warning like, take care people, water is rising. Instead they did absolutely nothing. Last year we had the alarm system test day. I think it was maybe Europe-wide or maybe only in whole of Germany. And during that time it was realized that a lot of sirens and warning systems are broken and failed and do not work. But what did we do in the whole year? Exactly nothing. It seems that nothing was done. So the sirens were not giving any alarms, at least many of them weren't. TV stations said nothing, radio stations said also nothing. That's why, yes, some people really drowned in their sleep maybe. And now, to top it all off, it seems that police is sending away people who are coming to help. Maybe because they didn't have a corona vaccine or they didn't have a recent corona test to show. People are coming, driving hundreds of miles, many hours, in their tractors or in their trucks to help the people in need, but they're being sent away by the police. It's like, I don't know, if the politicians would want to be regarded as the evil guy, they couldn't do it better. On top of all, I heard that Mr. Laschet, the guy who was laughing, or at least the state they're not even asking other states of Germany for help. For example, Hamburg, the city who has great experience with floodings, they offered their fire trucks and qualified personnel. But the state of North Rhine-Westphalia declined. They say, no, we don't need any help. As a German citizen, I feel very bad. It's like the government is showing its true face. Whenever German people are in need, there's no money, there's nothing. For example, when the situation in China started, Germany sent all its backup masks and all the medical equipment that we had for emergencies we sent to China. And then a couple months later, who would have guessed, there were no masks for Germans left. Instead, German politicians then bought masks from China for, I think, 10 or 20 or maybe 50 times the price. Only to, have a good picture of them in the news covering. Like, look, I'm such a cool politician, I managed to buy masks in this critical time and I only spent 50 billion euros on that. People are feeling betrayed by their government. I remember when I went to school, there was never enough money. There was no money for new purchases. Computers? Oh, no, we have to use the old ones because we have no money. The rooms look like crap? Oh, no, we have no money. But then as soon as something else happens, money is near limitless. It seems at the same time it's here, the same thing is happening here again. As you can see in this picture, their water levels were already higher and floodings are a relatively common occurrence in some of these areas. I have read that some people said that politicians always did their, the election advertisement campaign tours, promising that they will fix the sewer systems, that they will invest in flooding prevention. but instead it seems they did nothing. Now to the political angle of the whole situation. Who would want to profit from the floodings? It seems that Laschet, the guy who was laughing, wanted to copy one of the strategies from the chancellor who was before Merkel. In 2002, Schröder, who was running for president, also visited flooded areas. He did it in a better way. This show of force and show of, okay, I really care for you people, help him to win the elections. Maybe Laschet wanted to do the same, because Baerbock is losing traction and it's now up to him to win, to be declared the winner. So he wanted to gather some bonus points by showing that he really cares for his people. Maybe that's why he wanted this whole situation to escalate. That's why he prevents all outside help from coming. But, well, it didn't work out. And what are the other parties saying? The Green Party is blaming climate change. They say, oh yeah, we need to do some more climate. We have to work more for the climate. If everybody would have driven electric cars and have solar panels on their roofs, then maybe we could have prevented this. This is a joke. So the people are feeling very left alone by the government. The only politicians who come and the only politicians who talk about them are only doing so for own political gain. Merkel currently is doing her final visit in the United States. She made a short brief statement on the flooding, but she didn't come back or do anything more. So she did the bare minimum. Baerbock, on the other hand, the one whom I talked about in the previous video, she is still in holiday. So she does not want to interrupt her holiday and to show herself as caring for the people. She'd rather stay and relax in a safe place somewhere. The videos of Laschet laughing have been seen by now over, I guess, millions of times in Germany. At least a Twitter here shows 1.4 million. It only shows Twitter, so I guess it got shared on all the other news channels like WhatsApp and Telegram and so on Facebook. I personally am safe and all my friends are, because we live in a different part of Germany. Many people have lost everything. And instead of helping, politicians prevent help from arriving. And in the end, even laugh at us. Because in time of need, your suffering will be used for political gains. The only upside of this all is that politicians have shown their true face, and people know that they can only rely on each other.